Spring is in the air and it must be the season for high-end gaming headsets because the release schedule has been crazy lately. Now I wish for these and the audio gods must have listened because I'm holding the open back version of Sennheiser's latest GSP line, the GSP 500, and I've got a lot to say about these. Let's go. You're looking for cheap PC games? Check out Kinguin.net. Click the link in the description below to help support the channel and never pay full retail again. Yo, I'm Brian P. You're watching Bad Seed Tech, and today we're taking a look at the GSP 500 open back gaming headset from Sennheiser. These guys are 28 ohms with a frequency response of 10 to 30,000 hertz. They're compatible with Mac, PC, PS4, Xbox One, and practically anything sporting a standard headphone jack. And they retail for $229 with a 2-year warranty, and they tip the scales at about 362 grams. And as of right now, I'm hearing these things are gonna be widely available mid to late May, so keep an eye out for them. And before we jump in here, let's get this out of the way because I'm still getting a lot of questions about the difference between open back and closed back headsets. Generally speaking, it works like this. Closed back is going to normally provide better isolation, meaning it blocks out the world around you while you have your headphones on. It's also going to provide deeper, tighter bass for the most part, and a little tighter or more constrictive soundstage, or how the world around you feels based on how things sound either close or far away in the distance to you. Open backs are always going to give you less isolation, making them less ideal for use in noisy environments. You're also going to trade some bass in lieu of a wider or more convincing soundstage. One is not better than the other. It is completely a matter of personal preference. And you might even prefer one over the other on a game-by-game basis based on the environment, i.e. closed backs for like a tight, claustrophobic corridor shooter, or open backs for like a wide, expansive, outside, open world game. Gabish? Good. On to the cans. The design language on the GSP 500 is practically identical to the closed back version, the GSP 600. Which is to say it looks like it's cobbled together from retired Transformer faces. The frame, at least to me, looks exactly the same as the one used on the GSP 600, with the only difference being the badging. Still no adjustment markings on the headband, and they still look as awesome or as hideous as you think the GSP 600s look. Same swiveling mic setup, same stiff volume knob, and the same proprietary cable system. Also on offer here is the outstanding clamping force adjustment. Unfortunately, it's also got the same padding on the headband as the previous model, but it plays an even bigger role here, which we'll get into in just a sec. Now, these still aren't real comfortable when worn around your neck for any length of time, but I'm very happy to report that the cable noise is practically non-existent when you're wearing a t-shirt, and it's been greatly reduced when you're wearing a hoodie. It's still got the same springy cables too with the same braided covering, so I'm thinking that noise transference has to be something that's inherent of a closed back design. The ear cups are really where we start to see design changes. The outside of the cups have a mesh grill insert that's mostly obscured by the frame itself. You get the same ear-shaped cups that shouldn't have a problem going completely around your ears, but the pads have seen a revision here, and that's a pretty big disappointment. The memory foam ear cups on the GSP 600 is the stuff of legend. I've never seen anything like it. It's so dense, like so thick memory foam, that you can actually press the cans against the side of your head when you put them on and let them go, and it'll create a seal so tight that it actually makes your ears pop. Now, I get that forming a tight seal is not imperative for operation of an open back design, but they were so damn comfortable. The material and the padding here are both very forgettable, and comfort becomes a factor here because they hit me with clamping force where I hate it the most, right here. What I wouldn't give for a little head, a littler head, smaller head, whatever. These, like most headsets I've tried, have to be at max settings on every adjustment for me to wear them. While I found the 600s to be very comfortable, these, not so much. If I have to let the adjustment all the way out to minimize clamping force, then that means that the headband is doing the majority of the work keeping these guys in place. And with the anemic padding on the headband, this becomes an issue. If you look at the design, they actually have seams in the padding right in the center of the headband where this plastic piece is, meaning that there is less padding where they need padding the most. Yeah, the design of the frame is the same on the 600s, but the increased density of the memory foam was more comfortable, which means I didn't have to worry so much about clamping force, which means I didn't have to depend on the headband as much. I don't know how these are gonna feel after a proper break-in period, but I can tell you that right now, that thing sitting on the crown of my head starts to get really uncomfortable at about the 2.5 hour mark, which is a real shame. Now, I'm an extreme case, and your head size and your mileage may vary, but I will tell you this, if they ever release the ear pads from the GSP 600 as a standalone accessory, that's an automatic buy for me. So why would I even struggle through the discomfort of this headset? Well, I'll tell you why. These sound incredible. incredible. Nothing I've heard in the gaming space comes close to these. Few headphones that I've ever demoed come close to these. The gold standard, my absolute favorite gaming headset, is the open-back Sennheiser Game 1. These sound markedly better than those. Cleaner, more detail, fuller, richer bass. Now, I don't know what magic these are crafted from, but unlike the GSP 600, which really needed an amp, these sound great hooked to my phone with a surprising amount of clean bass. They sound great hooked to the onboard Realtek on my RS Gaming 5 motherboard. They sound spectacular when hooked up to the Mayflower Arc, especially with bass boost enabled. Hell, they probably sound great plugged into a toaster oven or like an old pair of sneakers. They sparkle, they shimmer, the bass just swells up out of nowhere. They give you goosebumps when you listen to your favorite songs. And the soundstage. When you're listening to lossless audio, it legit sounds like you're sitting in the middle of the recording studio. When you're playing Far Cry 5, it feels like you're standing outside in the woods. With only stereo audio, you can pinpoint enemies with scary accuracy from just audio cues. And when a plane flies overhead, not only does it sound like it flies in miles from either direction, but it actually sounds like it's up in the air. I would have loved the opportunity to hear these paired with the simulated 7.1 surround audio on the GSX 1000. Unfortunately, during this review, I did not have access to that unit. Based on all my other tests and my fairly extensive knowledge of the GSX 1000, I can only imagine how incredible they sound. And don't even get me started watching movies with Dolby Atmos encoding with spatial sound enabled. It is next level. I'm running out of adjectives here, so let's frame it like this. You can grab a pair of Game 1s right now for like $160. When these launch, they're gonna be $230. So is a $70 premium, just looking at audio quality, worth the upcharge from the Game 1s? Oh, hell yeah it is. Now I own Game 1s, which I bought, and they're arguably more comfortable and they're definitely sleeker looking, and I'm still gonna buy these when they launch. The mic is the same high quality we've come to expect from Sennheiser's offerings in a gaming headset. Same design, you flip it down to talk, you flip it up to mute it, and it's got a nice tactile audible click to let you know which is which.
All right, so right now what you're hearing is the Sennheiser GSP 500. This is plugged directly into the Realtek onboard. This does have the noise canceling disabled because the onboard on this just squashes that signal till it just sounds like absolute garbage. So you're going to see much hotter levels here. I do have mic boost disabled. It's usually got a 20 dB boost. This is coming in just like regular zero boost. So let's get some noise floor. Not shabby. And in the background here, you're going to be hearing me type on some Cherry MX Browns. And now let's check out the ARC. All right, so now we're checking out the GSP 500 plugged into the Mayflower ARC, and we're only running this level at about 60% because at 100%, this thing is just way too hot. Now, I kind of cheated and listened back on this thing, and I found this input to sound really tinny, just really sucked the bass all the way out of my voice. I actually greatly prefer the Realtek onboard to the mic, so hopefully some of the background noise cancellation makes up for that. You're going to hear me typing on some Cherry MX Browns in the background. So that's the GSP 500 and the Mayflower ARC.
Now, even though I never experienced this with my copy of the GSP 600, there has been some talk surrounding a couple batches that may have gone out with really loose mic swivel joints that cause that mic to drop down. I can tell you that the mic joint on the GSP 500 feels a lot stiffer than it did on the 600, so it looks like Sennheiser took that to heart and got out in front of it before there were any issues. And it's not all gravy with these. The aesthetics are ridiculous, and the comfort is suspect, and dudes with a large head need to really proceed with caution here. Matter of fact, if I had any hair at all, these would be a no-go. The ear cup padding is a big step back from the 600s, and that's a real shame here. Now, some things you need to be aware of are just inherent of any headset that has an open back design. These are not built for isolation. So if somebody's talking in the background or your girl's watching TV in the same room you're trying to game in, it's gonna really wreck your experience. And that audio goes both ways, which means it leaks audio real bad. If you're listening to music, you could be disturbing somebody else in the room. If you're trying to record with these and monitor your mic, it's not gonna work because these are gonna bleed audio out the back of the cans back into your mic. If either of those situations apply to you, these are not for you. You need a closed back headset. But the mic quality of this unit, and the sound quality especially, is bulletproof, just exceptional. Now as for value, that's tough, man. The Game 1s are much easier to recommend to a wider audience because by and large, they're lighter, they're sleeker, they're more comfortable, and they're more adaptive to a wider range of head sizes. And they sound damn good, just not as good as these. The build quality on the GSP 500 trumps the Game 1s as well. These things are built tough, man. So for me personally, $230 is not too much money to pay for what is the flat-out best sounding gaming headset I've ever used. I'll add affiliate links in the description below as these come available. You may be able to get your hands on some now if you really dig around, but expect a wide release on these in mid to late May. Big shout out to Sennheiser for loaning these out for review. If you think I'm sending these back, you're out of your mind. Come and get them. That's it for this time. I'm Brian P. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that sub button, and until next time, stay up.